Yeah, it was just the last time on Dragon Ball Z stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, you guys are. So you guys are heading down to your people, and I'm making everyone make a dexterity save.
It's true. I rolled a
With
13.
advantage now, because
Wait,
you have
advantage? Let's see if I get a better roll the next time. So, yeah, I rolled a 13.
9 was my first one.
What did you get second?
I got 15 the second time. It rolled behind my computer.
Okay. Azure, how'd you do?
It looks like he got a 24, unless that's from last time.
24. Sorry, okay. I forgot I was muted.
No worries. Yeah, okay, so you guys are fine. You make it through the precarious pit of stomach acid just fine.
We've done this like 3 times now, we're fine.
You're like, oh, this again.
Just another typical day for Commodus.
And probably by the end of the trip, once again, Zogle has to be like, it doesn't get easier. Hold your breath.
So yeah, you guys pull into the village with about 3 hours to spare. You're greeted by the townsfolk who are, all very happy to see you. A sort of bedraggled Oriana is lurking at the back. Just kind of heads, like eyes, just like everything is pain.
Yeah, I hop up and go right over to her and be like, "Hey, me and the annoying bard have something for you."
Oh, what is it?
I pack a pipe and I thrust it in front of her and be like, "You need to smoke this."
She evaluates it and then she looks at you and she says,
"You've been around enough, Druid, not to question things."
She says, "I like this solution better than the last one." Does anyone wanna? And she just like,
nope, just. We need to stay. Do not let Kyr'nes have any. We need him to be focused.
She says, "Okay, there's kids here. I'll be back."
There's kids here. I'll be back.
So it's about this time that Jaren approaches and he says, "Well, you've made it back. We've got stew. How's your progress?"
We've got stew.
Forgot about that plan, didn't you?
I sure didn't.
Well, brother dear, we've made a surprising amount of progress, actually. I was expecting it to be a lot more difficult. There's a bit of a wrinkle involving the condition we're going to need to make, but I also have a clever plan regarding that. But let me explain just what we have to do, not around everyone. And I kind of gesture toward her.
So you find yourselves in the same meeting room as before, but now it's significantly
emptier,
less full. So Lima pulls out some chairs for everyone, and she says, "Oh, sorry, I pressed my mute button, but
and
nothing
it didn't."
It's actually broken. I remember this because I was on call with Razz. Sorry, everybody. I didn't.
You tried.
Blow your eardrums out.
You tried real hard.
It's all good.
Cabbages!
I'm so sorry. And Lima says, "Okay, well, what were you able to achieve?"
Well, to put it bluntly, we've arranged a deal of some sort with 2 of the 3 members of the Crown. The Druid, as far as I'm aware anyway...
Do you know this?
I did Zogle fill me in on this? Question of the day.
I
Yeah.
told you about the Druid being willing to be on your side.
Okay, so, the Druid is willing to hear our case, provided we convince another member of the Crown, and thankfully, the Cleric is ambivalent but open to discussion, provided we make a certain trade. Now, I'm going to say this, and I need you both to not freak out on me. I have
They make
an
eye contact
idea.
with each other. They're like, shit.
I have a plan. We'll see if it's a good one, but
We'll see if it's a good one.
I'll put this bluntly. The Cleric requires you two.
Okay. I have a question about that. Did he specifically say we have to give them, or we just have to get them there to talk?
Yes.
She said you have to give them to her.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yikes.
Like they're the price.
Mm.
Oh, Jesus.
So he kind of, like I said, let me put this bluntly. We need to give... The Cleric requires you two. And he pauses to see their reaction.
Jaren jumps to his feet. And says, "This is unacceptable."
Yes,
And he does some draconic cursing.
Sit down. There is far more pressing issues if you don't agree to do what we say.
Thank you, Zogle. Good point. As I've said, I have something clever.
He talks over you, Kyr'nes, and he says, "You threaten me in my own home?"
I'm not threatening you.
No. A sorcerer with a very large fireball threatens you.
And I don't know
Threatens your
fireball.
entire home.
Now let me explain. I would never acquiesce to those terms willingly. I have something clever in mind, and provided we can pull it off, you two would be completely unharmed. Is Oriana with us?
No, she's off smoking.
Oh, she's off smoking. She's off
probably
getting
dead.
stoned as heck.
The sheet, which is over the doorway, pushes back, and a cloud of smoke blows in. And Oriana comes in, and she leans her head on Azure's shoulder. She said, "Oh, I feel a lot better."
Kyr'nes visibly blanches at the sight of Oriana acting like this. Oof. Okay, this is going to make my plan a hard sell, but you're gonna have to trust me.
I kiss her on her forehead and I say, "Well, you're always useless, but at least you're kind of cute."
She looks at you and she says, "You're so funny."
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Now, we do have to really think about this plan, unfortunately. They know. They've known for a very long time where you are, and I'm pretty sure that this sorcerer is running out of patience.
Yep, and I have an idea. So, despite her apparent impairment, Oriana here is an illusionist of remarkable power. She's pulled some interesting things, and I have an idea. So,
Yeah.
so we know that illusions normally have difficulty being physically interacted with, so I had a plan about that. Zogle, you can shape water. Yes.
Yes.
And I think also Endr can do this. I have something called Ray of Frost. And
I do.
it would make sense that a Ray of Frost could freeze water into a solid shape, no? Kyr'nes
Yeah,
is like...
much like we work on it. However, you do have to remember, I can only do 5 feet of water.
Yes. Kyr'nes is actively pacing the room as though he's a professor right now. like giving a lecture. Like, yes, this isn't perfect, but my plan boils down to we have Zogle shape the water into humanoid forms that make sense for you, brother dear, and you, sister dear. And we have Oriana, and potentially myself, depending on what I can pull off, cast some illusionary veils over these two stand-ins, and then we hand over the stand-ins, and bing bang boom, we have solved our issue without any potential threat to either of you, which is, I'm sure, amiable to both of you.
How do you expect
I
to make them
understand.
walk?
Well, it's not a foolproof plan. There are some wrinkles. But I'm sure we can come up with something clever.
I could have them built, but I can only make one at a time move.
What if we were to rig wheel shapes upon the feet? They could slide along.
That's a lot of sound.
Very true.
And
Would you
very
like my
devil's
plan?
advocate.
Well, Zogle, given the many hitches we would have to overcome in my plan, I think hearing yours is not a bad idea.
Oriana, do you have anything that makes two of those silent images I think we've seen you portray from time to time?
She looks over and she says, "Yeah, Kyr'nes, what's your plan?" Like, this is magic weed.
It's
but you,
Azure, do you have?
Well, you do know you have seen Oriana cast mirror image, I believe. So
Oh, excellent.
that's a
Let's
thing you can do.
Cool. We can make two of her, and then we can disguise those two of her to look like these two. Normally, they're not able to speak, but I'm pretty sure between prestidigitation, druidcraft, any of our countless abilities, we should be able to make them speak properly. So maybe we should go with more illusionary bases instead of trying to shape a construct.
Yeah, I was mostly considering the construct in case they needed to hold up to physical inspection. It would be rather pointedly obvious if, say, they went to grab one of their shoulders and it phased through.
Or the other thing we can do, well, mirror image actually is able to be touched. It's a physical illusion.
Oh my.
However, we could just prepare these two for the worst. Like, honestly, if they don't show up and say they see through this ruse, how angry do you think they'll be?
Yeah.
That's a good
I
point.
was gonna say the same thing. I mean, if we trick them, don't you think that would end really badly for us?
Yeah, that's a good point. Hang on.
Lima, who's been very quiet up to this point, says, "I'll go."
Are you sure? That's a lot. It could go very poorly very quickly.
That's true, but Mother did horrible things to many people. If we sacrifice ourselves, then that's 2 lives to save many more.
That's very noble of you, sister.
Kyr'nes, I don't believe you're letting it sink in properly. This is it. This is your last hurrah. If this doesn't go through, they already know where you are. They already know where everyone's hiding, and they already know that she is down here. If you
Yes.
don't make this work, it's over.
You're right. That's why a drastic gambit is required. Better to try than simply let them take us.
And Jaren says, exactly. That is why I will not be going.
Brother, I get the sense you've been rallying forces for a long time, no?
Indeed.
And tell me, they see you as a leader, yes?
They do.
So, would it not make sense if you were captured, taken, they would rise up to your aid?
We have no warriors left, Kyr'nes. We are a ramshackle group. Without that dragon, we have nothing.
So, we stand at a crossroads. Two equally dubious plans. Would it not make sense to prepare as best we can for your plan, brother, but allow the success of our plan as a linchpin? If things go
just think
poorly,
your plan is stupid.
I was
And
expecting
yours is
that.
not much better from a tactician's position. Yours will get you all killed.
Ours may also get us all killed, but more peacefully. Either way, the way I see it,
Survival for ours.
I'm sorry, what's up?
There's a better chance of survival for ours.
the way I see it, brother dear, if we engineer things just so, it would make sense that we attempt our plan with the caveat that someone is able to take word down here to complete preparations for your plan. We can have the best of both worlds. Have our cake and eat it too.
I don't even know why we're wasting time with this. We should just go pull those rocks.
I don't think
No.
you're listening.
He sits down and crosses his arms and crosses his legs and just...
You know, the history books, the way most people survive for an eternity, it is much easier to stay inside of them as a martyr than it is to go down as a slave. Slaves are forgotten throughout history, but the people who rose up in peace and martyrdom, they stick around in the books for a very, very long time. Would it not be better for your people to be remembered forever if they're going to perish either way?
Who has a higher persuasion between Kyr'nes
No.
and Zogle?
That is a
Not
good
good.
question. My persuasion is +2. Deception
I
+5,
think
if
it's
that matters.
me. Give me 1 second.
I'm pretty sure it's Zogle.
Oh, that's a +5.
Oh,
Okay, Zogle,
yeah, that's
roll
much better.
with advantage for persuasion.
20 altogether.
Classy.
He sighs. And he says, I want the people to start working on the dragon while we go up. That way, if anything goes wrong, it will be ready sooner.
that sounds fine to me.
Fair enough.
And Lima says, if this is what it takes, then fine. I'll get the word out. She stands and walks to the door and exits the room.
Kid,
Ugh.
can I get a rules clarification?
Sure, what's up?
Just because I have gears turning in the back of my head. Can I take someone else with me when I cast Misty Step?
Let me look it up.
Because it doesn't say you can't do that in the book.
What's the cast? Like, is there a range?
That is a good question. Let me see if I have it written down somewhere.
Because if it says
Misty
target
Step.
self, then no, you can't.
And my meta magic doesn't work on target self. Dang it. Distant spell
I
doesn't
think
work on target
that-
self, does it?
I think that Dimension Door is like the only difference, and it literally says in it that you can take one of your size or smaller.
Yeah, so Misty Step. Briefly surrounded by a silvery mist, you teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see.
Yeah, and since it's range self, I can't use distant meta magic to take someone with me either.
Right.
And I'm assuming Blink has a similar limitation.
Yep.
Gosh dang it.
Yeah,
Get
sorry
you the
about that.
Dimension Door.
I almost took Thunderstep instead of Blink, but I think Thunderstep also. Wait! Oh, dang it! I think Thunderstep you can take one creature with you. Let me look.
Donk.
Doesn't matter because I don't have it, but Thunderstep.
Yep.
I'm totally using Thunderstep when I run my Storm Sorcerer.
It's a great spell. You can bring any objects along and a willing creature of your size or smaller. Gosh, dang it! Why didn't I take Thunderstep?
So, Kyr'nes, why don't you get things prepared to make ourselves look as humble and as nice as possible? I would help, but I don't know what nice is.
That's
At least you're honest.
That doesn't surprise me somehow, Zogle. I'll do what I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Oriana since I was like hanging out with this dank ass weed for a while. Do I know how long she's gonna be fucked up?
I would ask. Well, let's see. Let's have her roll an endurance or a
Constitution
save. She rolled let's see, she's got like a. Okay, so I'd say she rolled like a 15. So maybe like 4 or 5 hours.
She's gonna be messed up.
It is
So-
evening.
Yeah, so I'm gonna write down a note basically saying that if all goes to hell, protect these villagers, blah 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 blah, and I'm gonna tuck that bitch in and I'm out. Like,
Nice.
she done. We can't save her. It's too late for her.
Very nice. While you're doing that, Azure,
Uh-huh.
you hear like a voice, and at first you think that like you're hearing things, but it starts to get louder. Like it's just barely above whisper volume, and you hear. Azure! Azure! Azure!
Oh.
Oh no! What'd you do to Blue?
Oh, okay. I say in my. What do I do? Okay. I whisper. Hello.
Do you want to make a perception check to see if you can figure out where it's coming from?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Okay, let me roll that.
Blue hasn't like talked in like forever, so I'm like, wait,
Wait.
wait.
Okay, I rolled a 21.
A 21? It's in your pack.
Oh, okay. I pick up. I get out the mirror and I pick it up.
Yeah. And when you pick it up, you were expecting to see
Dreadlock. Oh,
yes, him.
that's his name, right?
Yeah. I think so. Krevlock.
Dreadlock. Oh.
Yeah. But it's actually a hooded figure who you recognize. You recognize it's Gremmin,
Yeah.
who is like the mysterious hooded figure that hangs out with Krevlock.
Uh-huh.
And he says, we would have liked to never get your attention. This is not an efficient means of communication.
Well, listen. So I would be happy to see you, but right now it's not very possible.
I need to give you an update on
Okay.
our contract.
Okay. Do you have any idea what do you want to do?
Oh no, he wants to give you information.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well. Go ahead.
He says, just as the sun set today over Dover, there was an attack on one of the streets.
Okay, and anyone got hurt?
Many died. It was beautiful.
Ooh, edgy.
Edgy.
Okay, and by many people died. Like, who specifically? Like, is it just some villagers or was it
Researchers of the demons in the streets.
Oh, okay.
Clones.
And any idea on who did the attack?
We saw an immense cart rolled into town. It was armored. Our guards could not stop it. It had some sort of properties. We did not like it. It went to the demon cages, and their barriers broke down. The demons escaped, did minor damage. We think we should get a demon.
Okay. And how do you think that it's related to our problems?
The Countess Clarella toured this morning of the demon experiments. We believe she is in cahoots with whoever took the demons.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, this is so not in character, but
Cahoots. This edgelord says cahoots. I love it.
I love it.
Well, okay, well then that makes sense. Okay, well, I'll finish with my business over here, and I'll make sure to try to contact you and rally some forces to see what's up in the city.
Very well. We will see you soon. And then like the signal almost gets kind of staticky, and you hear like he says, I apologize. I must eat. And the screen goes black.
Okay.
Welcome to Dover. It's a perfect.
Okay, good. Okay, I put back the mirror in my backpack, and is there who's around me?
I mean, I would imagine that you were like did you take the call outside of the room? Like did you leave or did you stay in there?
I probably left the room.
Probably left. Okay, so like maybe a couple of like Dragonborn walked by and were confused while you were talking to a mirror, but unless
Okay.
anyone like specifically wants to follow you, I mean.
Okay. Okay.
Nah,
well,
Carl, I'm trying to figure out this situation that we got ourselves into.
Yeah, I'm like currently like considering what I've done with disguise self and minor illusion before, and like, can I do that?
Okay.
Can I do that thing?
Well, I'll head up. I'll head up to, like, I'll go back into the room and yeah. Are people talking? Or like, am I going in the room like, "Hey y'all," and like everyone's talking?
I don't know. What are the rest of you up to? I know that Lima and Jaren would be just quiet. Lima kind of in like a somber sort of, and Jaren is kind of fuming. But
He's just pissed off.
Lima, how much information do we have about the towers themselves?
the towers of the crown.
Yes, blueprints, anything like that of that situation, that sort.
Oh goodness, no! It's locked up somewhere. That's not the kind of thing that they would have let the public have. It's more a relic of when the Titan was first enchanted, really. That's around the time that it was built.
Even the people that work there for like the Archdruid and whatnot, they haven't reported back to you guys with any knowledge about the structure, about anything about this?
Why would they report back to us?
Oh, please. I look over at Sulky McSulkerson. If his plan the whole time was to have at it and attack, like, why wouldn't he have gotten people in there to, like, scout the way out?
I don't know. It's just, I guess after 10 years, we stopped thinking about it. Oh, sorry, hold on. DM misunderstood. She says, well, it's not exactly an easy place to break into. You have 3 of the most powerful magic users, potentially on the continent, just going about their studies.
Who said anything about breaking in?
That's not the thing I was wondering.
Thought.
Those people that are working there or quote-unquote slaves there, they don't come back here at all, ever?
I don't know who you're talking about.
There were Dragonborn. Some of them were quote-unquote chained to things, but they really weren't. I was expecting them to be here.
They were
I'm
not?
sorry. I don't know who that is. Maybe. I mean, it could be true, but there are probably servants' quarters within the crown itself.
Oh. Well, it's just interesting that not all white Dragonborn are here. I thought that they kind of came and left this area. My apologies.
Many of those who were enslaved don't come here. They may not even know it exists. These are the last dregs of the free white Dragonborn.
Okay. Well, unfortunate Kyr'nes, I can't bring the roof down on these people. I'm sorry. Let's think about something else, I suppose.
Kyr'nes is like still stuck on the they were chained but not. I'm confused. In the Cleric's tower there was some sort of dominance going on. There weren't any chains, but they very clearly weren't allowed to leave.
Oh, yeah. No, the Archdruid was playing it up that they were slaves. They really weren't, though, because, us Druids, we don't believe in slavery. We believe in letting all natural creatures, Dragonborn or not, roam around. So it was interesting to me that he was chained to the desk, but it seems that it's a ruse to make sure that sorcerer does not catch wind that the Druid wants their freedom.
So we wanted to keep up appearances, in short.
Yes, we're not dumb. We're wild people, not stupid.
Fair enough. I think Kyr'nes now, clearly gets an idea across his face, and he, rushes out of the room to go find the guy who gave him the potion of humankin.
Yeah, that is Azelle.
Azelle
Dazim. You find Azelle feeding a carrot to his horse. It's like a really withered, shrivelly carrot, and he says, I know. Once we get back to Dover, I'll give you the biggest carrot you've ever seen. It'll be fine. Oh dear. Whoa. Look at me. I was the one who...
Anyway, Kyr'nes kind of like, Zell, this potion,
Yes.
this potion, it disguises us, yes?
Yes.
So...
It's excuse me, I misspoke. It's just not so much a disguise as a true transformation.
And we have, I assume, not much supply of this.
No, it is specifically used for those of us who need to move through the city to get the other supplies.
How many charges are on my thing? I wrote it down,
Five,
but I don't.
I
5,
think.
thank you. I wrote it down and I don't remember where I wrote it down. Da-da-da-da-da. Apologies. I have an idea that I'm considering trying out involving this potion. Is there? What do we know about this potion? What is it? Does it have limitations?
I was gonna say, is there any way that like Endr can study it, like to see what it's made of?
You totally could. It's a fairly complex potion, so it might be difficult to like get the exact recipe, unless you like roll really really well. But you could definitely like, with some tinkering over time, figure out how to make it.
Yeah, we have like 3 hours. I don't think you're gonna.
Well, I mean, if you have any left over later.
Mhm.
Okay.
But he says, I have not run into any limitations, but that does not mean they don't exist. What I don't make them. What is your question?
I'm not entirely sure. I have a concept of a plan, and I don't quite know if we're going to be able to execute it yet.
I see. Well, if it's really that important, you can go talk to Dazim. She's the one who brews them in the back of her bar.
Okay, thank you. And he rushes off back into the house.
She's got alchemy. Quick, get her recipes.
Yeah, quick,
Kyr'nes like, oh, you go.
go yoink Endr.
Kyr'nes, as much as he can with the door being a sheet, bursts into the room. Guys, I have an idea.
I could imagine by the time he left and came back, Zogle has the entire meeting room covered in books. Just like looking at all sorts of different plans.
Like, looks up.
Zogle in a literal, like, nest of books.
I'm the dragon now. I hoard books.
Guys, I have a plan.
Same.
Happy?
What's yours?
So we were going to use Oriana's illusions to not actually turn them over, yes? Well, that was one of the plans
Oh,
we
no.
considered before we realized
My
how
plan
difficult that would be.
My plan's just to straight up give them up.
I'm still
I-
trying to find a way to not, sacrifice my
that.
brother and sister.
So we said sacrifice. I just said give them up.
That's a good point. We could get them back, couldn't we?
Duh. Why do you think I'm opening my books? God. For a non-wild person, you're stupid.
Kyr'nes like that like moment in an argument where you're like, I can't think of a comeback. Fuck. Just like anyway, we have this potion exists. Do my brother and sister know what this potion is?
Yeah, they would know.
So this potion exists, right? What if we could use this in trying to get them out, couldn't we? What if we proceed with the deal as normal, and in the process of getting you out, use these potions to disguise your forms and use illusionary magic to fill in the gaps, so to speak.
If you
What
think
would we use Fairy magic on, Kyr'nes, if we're taking them away.
True.
You didn't think about that, did you?
Again, yes. I mean, we could make effigies. They don't have to move if they're just going to be in a cell, right?
Kyr'nes, I get it. This is your family,
Wait.
and you're so afraid of them being taken or hurt or sacrificed.
Azure, this is probably where you walk into the room, and Blue in your ear whispers, "Wait, didn't we see Oriana do that thing before? And she didn't have to have anything to cast the spell on. She just made a major image."
Damn it, Blue!
I look at Blue and I'm like, you never know when to talk, right? Oh my god.
Lord.
I mean, does Blue's voice carry it well enough for
Nope.
us all? No.
Wait, oh, shit, does it? Okay, I thought it did. So I what should I do? Okay, I look up and I say, well, I might have something to share with you. Okay, so I got an idea. Okay, and I look at
I hate it. I instantly I hate it. Terrible plan.
I look at
Kyr'nes
Blue
is-
and I'm like, what is it again?
Major image.
Oh yeah. Have you ever thought of major image?
I've heard tell of this spell. That doesn't need to have things,
Seen
does it?
You've seen it multiple times.
You've seen it at least once.
Fair.
You were being gored by a minotaur at the
Yeah,
time.
I was gonna say, I was being gored by a minotaur, and I'm a sorcerer who doesn't think about spells. So, he probably didn't know that was major image. He's just like, yeah, I've heard of that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe that could be useful. I know Ariana has a spell of that sort. But then again, my with Zogle, I think they should just give themselves in and see what happens.
I just don't know if we have that kind of time. She's out. Like, guys, you don't understand. That was some magic, okay? Like, you think nature has some shit? That is some shit.
Lima says, well, are we planning to go in the middle of the night? I don't know if they'll be willing to hold a council meeting before morning. It's fine if we go.
I would prefer to face this with a night of sleep behind us.
And frankly, Kyr'nes, I appreciate the thought, but if we escape after you give us to them, then if the rest of the Dragonborn haven't been evacuated, or even if they have, I mean, powerful Sorcerer and Cleric and Druid, they could find them anywhere. It's your choice, but I'm willing to accept the punishment.
Kyr'nes is a little frustrated. He's like, It vexes me that you're right, sister. I just want this to go well for everyone.
I know. And Jaren, who's sitting next to her, pipes up and he says, "Well, I want to be saved. I don't know about you."
That's the guy who's gonna rush into death.
Yeah. Just go full Leroy Jenkins.
You know, my brother Gatorjaw would totally have a name for you.
What's that?
Pussy.
Oh my god! Destroyed!
He stands up and he says, "I don't have to take this. And he walks out.
Okay, bye. Make sure to come back later.
Have a good time. Run from your fears.
I mean, he is gonna die, so.
I just imagine Azure being like, so you're right, but.
Oh,
Sorry,
also,
and
people
I
are
don't like
dying
all your
in.
family.
Also, people are dying in. What's the name of the place
Dover?
we're living?
Dover.
Dover. Yeah, people are dying in Dover, so maybe we should check that out afterwards.
People are dying?
Yeah.
What?
I
Dying.
Like zoinks, dude! That was Sonic,
Thinking about-
not Shaggy. What the
just
heck?
thinking about Dover and people dying. Just Zogle kind of like loses a quick breath, just like what?
Like what?
Azure, you have no class.
He's a bard. Thank you.
He doesn't need class. He is class.
You don't know what it means to be pretty. No, I'm just.
Oh,
You're right. People have been calling me gorgeous my life. I don't know what they're talking about.
I don't remember anyone in this game calling you Gorge.
Hey, I will throw shade like a redwood.
You were crocheted like a. Oh my lord.
It's
Okay.
So, story. What?
So I guess sleepy time.
I believe we were at People Are Dying in Dover.
Yes. You're gonna have to fill me. You're gonna have to fill me in here, Azure. What's happening in Dover? What are
Yeah,
we gonna
so
do after this?
Maybe we should worry about it after we, we don't want our focus split.
That's
Are we sure we
true.
want to go into this right now?
Yeah, let's kill your family and then we'll think about the other stuff.
I think you got this the wrong way around.
No, Azure, you gotta have a little bit of flair on it. We're going to get your family killed, and then
You're no better.
Sorry, I hide your sadness with humor.
So, are you guys going to do any? What preparations need to be made?
My spells are already. I don't think I've done any since we got down here, so I think I
don't think I really have any prep to do either.
So as far as the lies and the shenanigans of I have no idea what nice is, I'm going to force Kyr'nes to look like the nicest individual on the face of the planet. So he's going to look like, we're going to make sure his clothes are not too ridiculous. We're going to make sure he gets a nice big pot of, food for whoever.
Okay.
I am going to talk to the staff of Angry Red Dragon, see if it has any valuable input.
Yeah.
It's like, hey bro, what's up?
As you pull it out, it says, "Disgusting. It smells like a body in here."
It smells like a body. Aren't you after one of those?
Not. What do you want?
Well, despite your current situation, I figured you could at least try to give me some pointers on what's going on here.
If you've been holding me, then I only know what you've said, and if you have me in a bag, I have no idea what's going on.
Oh,
In fact, if you weren't speaking in Draconic, then I have no idea what you said.
He has been speaking in Draconic because he knows. He's aware of that. He's like, no. I fill him in on the broad details of the situation. Like, this is what's been happening. Help. This is a bad.
So we are inside of a body. I knew it.
Yes, your senses are as keen as always. Please, advise me.
Well, here's what we're going to do. Tonight, you're going to sneak out of the town. You're going to go up through the giant and return me to that magic city. Understand so far?
I'm not seeing what I get out of this, nor how is it helping our situation.
No, it's great. It's great. Right? You don't want to die to this big, powerful sorcerer or the white dragon. Ugh.
That's my
He
mother.
makes the
Have
sound
some
of the
class.
thing, but like doesn't actually say it. He says, you're going to find someone who can put me back into a grand red dragon body, and then I will kill you.
That's less than helpful.
I want the staff, he said. The staff is better in my hands, he said.
I was hoping it would be a little more helpful and a little less I'm going to kill you. And you can't understand what's saying anyway. Actually, rules thing, do I get +1 to my spell attack rolls because of the staff? Is that how that works? Okay,
well,
I
don't know actually.
I don't know, because I was thinking about that. I'm like, is this a +1 staff as in I bat people with it, or is it +1 staff as in I use it as an arcane focus and I get +1?
Usual +1 staff rules is that it's a +1 to hit for the staff.
That is what I intended when I first did it, so...
Okay. I just want to make sure on that.
It's a stick of BAP.
It's a stick of BAP.
Is a good stick of BAP.
No, it's not. It's trying to kill you. It's a stick of BAP.
Fair.
Anytime you're gonna bat something with it, it's gonna be very angry at you and start like, "Oh,
don't use me like this! I am Dargon!"
So my actual preparations for the night is research and meditation for that 15 minutes to see if I can find anything more about this tower and about these people, especially that sorcerer.
Sure. Finishing up the staff situation. He says, very well. Well, if you're not going to do that, then this is my advice. The one you called Jaren seems like he has a good head on his shoulders. You want to get the upper hand here. If you had a white dragon on your side, even though it's inferior to red, then they would have to listen to you.
Somehow I'm unsurprised. Well, I'll thank you, great and... Now Kyr'nes is, absolutely being the most sarcastic that he can possibly be in Draconic. Thank you, oh great and wise dragon, for your ever so helpful advice. I will dwell upon this nugget of knowledge you have given me, oh field of stars. And then he shoves him in the bag. Doesn't even let him say anything.
He says, on his way in, you hear a muffled, if you're going to die, make sure you take me out of the bag.
Nope, he's living in that bag if we die. It will be the last thing Kyr'nes does.
Nice. Cool. Okay, Matt, you're trying to research what exactly?
The tower, the people, mostly that sorcerer.
Yeah, so the Crown of Rodavine is a very well-known place. It's not like this council has existed there forever, right? There are a lot of accounts of members switching in and out, sometimes because it's too draining on them and they need a reprieve, and sometimes because they die, sometimes because, whatever. The most recent was Borellian replaced the old Archdruid, who went to go live as a tree.
Do I know that druid?
He has never been to your druid circle as far as you know. Yep. So, and then traditionally, it's a cleric of Ra there's no like law that says it has to be, but kind of like it seems like once they got a hold of it, this kind of like nepotism set in, and they just pass it down from like priest to priestess to priest, kind of situation, like within the same religion.
So was it first given to a priestess of Ra?
Yes.
Like very first time?
Yes. And then the sorcerer is he's angry. There are accounts of his battles with the white dragon, whose name, well, you know which white dragon I'm talking about.
Whose name we
Kyr'nes'
can...
mom!
Kyr'nes' mom.
Hang on, it's gonna bother me if we don't say it. Eradzion.
Sorry, what?
Eradzion.
Eradzion.
Also, flavor, that's actually from a bronze dragon name generator. So,
interesting.
The ties, they continue to pile up.
Curious. Yeah, so there's lots of... He encountered Eradzion many times, and it's kind of this cat and mouse situation where she was too cunning, and he was too powerful, basically. So he couldn't like pin her down, and she couldn't kill him, basically. Ironically, he couldn't pin her down.
Do we know how long he's been on that council?
Approximately like between 40 and 50 years.
So longer than the other two by like a long shot?
Yes, he's definitely the oldest sitting member.
Do we know what kind of source wizard thing he is?
I mean, he's a tiefling. They're all tieflings.
No, not his race,
No.
his class.
He... Make an Arcana check for me. See if you could like estimate, like based on the descriptions.
Shittles.
So it is like 56 degrees out, and there are these two crazy people outside because I'm like right next to the pool. There are these people that are about to go into the pool right now. I'm like,
You act like I wouldn't do that exact thing.
15.
Yeah,
15?
so,
He is a wild magic sorcerer.
Oh, so there's a chance that could get real shitty for him.
Oh, yeah, he could get poor
There's also a
table
chance it could be
effects.
real shitty for you.
Yeah!
Right? Like,
Oh, yo. I saw the most broken item the other day. It's called the Charm of Table Management. It's literally just a little wooden table, but anytime you roll for a spell effect that, like, has a table, you can pick out of the table.
That is never happening in my game.
Like, the counterbalance to that is it's literally just a tiny wooden doll table, and it has nothing else special about it, so it could break incredibly easily, and you have to be holding it to use it.
Fair.
It's like the Deck of Many Things, except worse.
Worse. For sure.
Dead.
Anything else you want to know, Zogle?
Yes, since we got that part, I was wondering if I could do a quick little bit of research, because I'm sure druids would be like, those fucking arcane casters! Is there a way to, like, make a wild sorcerer's wild magic go off more and more?
If he casts a lot of spells.
So get him to cast lots of spells.
That
I
could
mean-
be really cruddy for us, by the way.
I was gonna say, like, that's also how he kills you.
Yeah,
If
it's
you
like,
decide
it's
to
how
fight
he
him.
kills us, but also how he may not kill us. We'll see.
Okay. So, but we would know he's like charismatic and intelligent kind of idea
Yep.
thing. Okay. Okay. I think that's all I need.
Okay. Endr and Azure, do you have anything you want to prepare?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go. I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Is Oriana sleeping?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go see what's in her
boy.
ring.
Sorry,
Well,
see what's in
now-
her what?
In her bag. I want to see
In her
what's
bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make a make an investigation check.
Okay.
This is interesting.
I
investigation.
keep like going to start googling myself,
And then
like,
realizing you have a thing so you don't have to.
exactly.
So I have a +4 and I'm proficient in it, so I have +7.
Okay.
Did I
And
put you on your
it's
Alexa?
I rolled a fucking 1.
Oh!
I'm annoyed.
Critical miss.
You you get distracted by just the top item and forget to check the rest of the pack. The top item is a it's
Oh,
a
forgot
silver
this.
necklace. It actually appears silver at first, but it's actually probably like tin or something. You know, like a low quality metal necklace with a like a little picture frame situation. You know, a little clasp.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the picture on the inside is of you think it's Oriana, like it's a mini painting which was miniaturized by magic because I just realized photography doesn't exist in this world. But you think it's Oriana at first, and upon closer inspection, like there are a few things about the woman in the picture that don't match, like her eyes are a different color, her brow is much higher, and just kind of the way that she holds her face like doesn't make sense for Oriana.
Okay.
Mother, perhaps?
Okay. Okay. Can I check on on herself what she has?
Like on her person?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Make another investigation check.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
I clicked on it and didn't roll. Oh, okay, because my thing crashed. Okay. I rolled a 23.
23, yeah. So in her pocket she has various spell components. She's got her staff, you know, it's fairly recognizable. And yeah, just kind of her clothes. There's nothing too interesting. She's got like a coin purse on her. She's not incredibly rich though. She's got like maybe like 30 gold on her, maybe.
Please don't take it. Please don't take it while she's asleep. Hi.
Okay. Well. Okay. Okay. I'll leave the room and I'll go. I don't know if she's in her room or whatever, but I'll leave her on her own and I'll go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm just imagining her like in a sleeping bag somewhere, like
Yeah.
just hanging, hanging out.
I
Cool.
will spew the information really quickly that it's a wild magic sorcerer to the party, just so they can prepare for the next day, properly.
Sure. Endr, what about you?
So are we gonna be taking a long rest?
Yeah, everybody else is going to sleep pretty much, or
Okay.
resting.
I want to prepare. So if we're gonna be in a long rest, I'm gonna get all my spell slots back. I want to prepare for healing elixir.
Sure.
Just on the off chance we might need them. If not, that's great.
You never know. With
Can you
this party,
upcast
never know.
healing elixir?
I don't
Can
know
we
if you
upcast?
can. I don't
That's
know.
a good question. Let's find out.
No, I cannot.
Ah.
If there's not a rule for
Oh,
it, I would say
no.
there should be a rule for it.
Yeah, because you're technically a multi-class. You should be able to do everything you could do before, plus whatever you have now.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can heal now.
Yeah. You do have the Cleric heal spells.
But let me look at. It's called Healing Elixir.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
Unearthed
We're
Arcana spell.
We're gonna homebrew right now, right here live. We're doing it live.
I mean, we
Working
already
at the car wash. Yeah, 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 yeah.
homebrewed a little bit because you've essentially made protection against evil and good like essentially a cantrip for Endr because she like studied it on like the 5-day boat ride the first
Yeah.
time we went to
That's true. I just feel like you should be able to like upcast a potion that is a healing potion, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say
every
I would say for every extra spell slot, it has to be a wizard spell slot. Okay.
okay,
Because
yeah,
I
that's
believe
fine.
this
I
is,
wouldn't.
Because it's a wizard spell.
it
It's
is
a wizard spell.
Yeah. Yeah. So for every extra level above first that you cast this, add a d4.
Oh shit! Let me write this down.
Yeah, do that. I think that that's how that spell should work. So we're gonna do that
So every level.
above first.
If I could figure out how to spell, that'd be great. If my-
Words are hard.
Words are
if my
hard.
tiny like little spouts of dyslexia would stop. I was like, how do I spell first?
Nice.
I was like, wait.
I'm surprised there wasn't an upcast by default in that spell.
It seems weird, doesn't it? Seems
Yeah,
weird.
so it's already 2d4 plus 2, so like.
Anytime
So-
you upcast, it gives more.
Add a d4. Yeah. Per spell slot level, I would say.
So basically, we're gonna treat it like healing word.
Basically.
Cool.
It's basically like delayed action healing word.
Yeah, it's a healing word you can't cast in advance.
Just shout into the bottle. It's fine.
Healing!
And cork it real fast. Okay, anything else that anyone needs to do before we take this long rest?
Wizards are weird.
I don't think I have anything else to do.
Wait, okay, so I have, oh, of course I just closed my spellbook app because I'm stupid. It's fine. So I have 3, second level spell slots.
Okay.
So can I just use those along with the 4 to make the potion? Just use all my spell slots on this.
Yeah, so 3 level 2s and 4 level 1s. And now they do last 24 hours. That's a thing. So.
Well, so we gotta use them at some point the next day.
Yes.
But
They'll probably get used considering where we're going.
fair. So it's essentially okay. So I'm gonna make 3. I'm just writing this down for later.
While we're writing things down, I just remembered that I get Wanderer because I was an Outlander wandering the world for a while. Does that mean I can remember, like, the inside of the Crown Tower where I was just really well?
Is that what Wanderer does?
Wanderer does excellent memory for maps and geography, plus you can ignore food rules for up to 5 people as long as it makes sense that you can
Yes.
find food.
Yes.
Okay. Can I draw maps of where I've been in the tower to give to the party?
For that, I will require a roll.
Okay.
Do you have, like, artisan's tools?
Do I have artisans? I do not have artisans tools.
Yeah,
Okay.
do you have calligraphy, cartographer, artisan? What are your tool proficiencies?
What are my
What are
tool
your tool
proficiencies? I don't even remember what my tool proficiencies are. That's the problem. I don't know that I get any tool proficiencies from, other than like hunting tools, I think. Oh. What are my
Wanderer might
proficiencies?
get some. I think you're a sorcerer, aren't you? You might get some from that as
Yeah.
well.
Tool
Well,
proficiencies.
Figure that out. I'm going to push forward.
Okay.
And
And
if
after she's done.
she goes to sleep, okay.
Yeah.
Before going to sleep, like Zogle inspired me to study literature or at least learn about the alphabet.
Yeah.
So I want to start
Yay, reading.
trying to teach Blue how to insult people.
I'm bored.
And,
Okay.
I'm so proud of you. You're using letters.
so like I'd like to start trying to teach her vicious mockery, which is just a cantrip. That does
Oh, interesting. Okay, make a charisma check for me.
just plain charisma
Yes, plain charisma.
with my. Do I
Charisma
have?
modifier. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a plus 20, JK.
That would be very broken.
Oh, I rolled a natural 20 for 22.
Okay. So what I was kind of thinking was we'll do like you have to. Okay, so for every 5 that you roll on these checks, right? I was gonna give you like 1 point.
Mhm.
Okay, and then when Blue gets to 10 points, then she'll learn Vicious Mockery.
Yeah, that sounds great to me.
Cool. Because you rolled a 20, I'll give you an extra one, so you're halfway to your goal.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, I did some digging. I do not get any tool proficiencies other than a musical instrument. And I didn't write down what musical instrument I got, so Kyr'nes can secretly sing.
You sing the secret song, the secret map song.
The secret map song. I sing it. I sing the map into existence. I secretly multi-classed as bard every other level.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Is that everything? Everybody?
Yep. Can I try without any proficiency to draw map?
I will give you disadvantage.
That
to try
is
drawing a map.
fair.
Okay.
What modifier?
I mean, it would just be the tool modifier, right? So
Yes.
no mod.
So no modifier because I'm just
just straight up roll
trying.
for it.
2d20 straight up and down. I rolled a 2.
You kind of draw a big circle and put 3 X's,
Oh,
and you're like that. Yeah, this is it. This is perfect.
It just looks exactly like I remember it. It's Nuggace all over again.
Oh God. Okay.
Have we explained Nuggace to the party?
No. Okay. So we had a pal named Ace at one point. And
I'm
we were
going
all
and getting the
drawing
picture
stuff
right
for
now.
each other. We were all drawing stuff for each other or writing things. And then Mike was like, "I can do things," and we're like, "Oh, or yeah, you should totally go and do that." And it's just he tried to draw it, and it
It looks like a chicken nugget.
he was trying to draw our friend Ace in a blanket, as a blanket burrito, and it ended up looking like a chicken nugget with a fringe.
Ha! There it is. Nuggace.
Oh,
I will
God.
share it with the Discord chat.
Perfect. So you all go to sleep.
Yes.
You wake up the next morning. Does anyone have any morning preparations before you head up to the surface? Try to make it quick, even if it's something that takes a while.
No, I'm good.
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Kyr'nes, remember, you're going to be nice. So nice. Sickly, sweet, nice.
You load up on soup and nice clothes.
Does it still... That's a good point. It still looks like the hand servant of Phrygia of Lubrina, right? Despite all the nice clothes and the soup. Yes, okay.
You still look like that person.
Okay, good.
I can't believe I'm leaving it in your hands.
Hey, I only drop things sometimes.
So,
The staff screams from the bag.
So, Lima and Jaren join you and they're accompanied by Oriana. And she's like kind of got her eyes like a little bit closed, and like part of it you can tell is like blocking her eyes, but she gives you a little smirk as she walks by that tells you there was some definite wake and bake action this morning.
Oriana, we need you semi-focused.
I'm fine. I didn't hit as big as last night.
You died last night.
Yeah, but I was already dying, so it's fine.
Oh my lord.
Kyr'nes has no idea what they're talking about. Like, what? Hello?
I'm gonna look at her and be like, "This is why I didn't give you the entire jar. You're not allowed to have any more."
No, honey. Not for you.
Cool. So you make your way to the surface. Are you imbibing your potion? And
Yes.
cool.
So I have
Perfect.
4
Oriana's Canadian. She
tokens.
got that legal kush. Yeah.
I mean, or she's from Colorado, still legal here too.
True.
Or Cali. Here, it's legal here too.
Man, I'm the odd dude out here.
You are.
They're working on it.
Yeah. Oriana. She says, "Look, I got this," and she turns and she goes, and both Lima and Jaren appear as humans, but both of their noses are like sideways on their forehead, and she goes, "Oh, hold on." They fix themselves. Which is
She like pats Ariana on the shoulder. Like, good
You
one.
fixed it.
I look at what a shitty job she did the first time, and I'm like, huh. Maybe we should put some in the soup for these assholes.
That's hard. You have to bake it into like butter, and then you
Yeah, it's difficult to extract.
An ordeal. That takes like hours.
Wow, Oriana, suddenly you have such knowledge.
such knowledge. It's magic, and I know about magic. So
I
yeah,
love it.
you proceed through the city to the crown. Nothing. There's no extra guards. There's no nothing. Like the people seem completely unaware of your activities.
Isn't it weird to think that we're such an epic adventuring group, and yet if we really think about it, the rest of the world has no idea what we're doing, and don't care either.
Maybe they'll care eventually. Isn't that the goal?
No, I don't want to be cared about. I don't want to be looked at. I don't care.
You want to be cared about? Well, it's too late.
If it makes you feel better, there's a guild that knows what you did. I'm very happy with you.
When Kyr'nes says, "Well, too late," I mean, like, look over the edge, of the, like, long live the king, huh?
Kyr'nes, I will point out, since you had mentioned it, did you want to stop in and talk to Devine before you, or Nazim before you leave?
I still have 4 charges left on this potion. It's probably good.
Okay.
We'll make a loop and see if we can get the recipes.
Yeah.
Oh, while we're running away.
Endr doesn't have to know.
Yeah.
Oh, my glasses are so
So
smug.
you proceed to the crown. There are 3 entrances to the crown, one at the base of each tower. Where do you go?
Better get these guys to like.
I was gonna say, didn't
didn't
Zogle like?
possible?
Yeah, didn't Zogle agree to meet with the Druid?
Oh, I never agreed to meet with the Druid. He just said that if we get her on our side, we're good to go. So
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I agreed to meet with the Druid. I don't have
All
it
right.
written anywhere.
All right, I guess Kyr'nes know he's got tunnel vision. He's like, well, this is what we gotta do, and he cheerily walks along with his pot of soup up to the cleric, into the cleric's tower. Like, hey, what's up? I got soup.
Okay.
I'm at
Yeah.
soup.
I'm totally gonna like watch him walk forward and be like, you know what, Azure? I don't think you and I should mention a thing. I should see if he can do this himself.
A nice stroll.
I we should have done some coaching. We should have done something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're all gonna die.
So as you enter, you're greeted by the same paladin as before, and he says, "Hail, friends."
Hail, noble paladin! I have returned with the requested, shall we say, elements of our deal. I've also brought stew.
Indeed.
Yep, I'm rubbing my temples. It's not going according to plan.
He pulls a bell from his pocket and rings it, but you don't hear any noise. A white dragonborn comes down the stairs and takes the stew from you, and he says, well, there will be time for this later. I believe they're already expecting you in the courtyard.
In the courtyard. Very well. Then I will attend to that requirement. Thank you for your hospitality, my good sir. Bows deeply, walks away.
Walks away.
Because
You don't know
the
where you're
courtyard's
going.
because the courtyard's like in the middle of the building, right? Like
It
in
is,
between
but
the
you didn't
towers.
see an entrance to it.
I didn't see an entrance to it. Dang it! I was hoping I knew that already.
Endr grabs his shorts and stops him from like, hey, you're gonna come with us.
It's like, oh dear, I have such trouble with my sense of direction, you see. I'm very glad my traveling party is here to aid me.
And also your footing, and also throwing things, and also catching things, and also
That was one time.
He says, please let me end this. He turns around. He pulls out a key from a pocket and touches the wall with it. And the key slides forward into the wall. And he turns it, creating a magical doorway.
It's a secret to everybody.
It is. There's a nice
Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
cool breeze. Yes, there's a nice cool breeze that pushes in, and you're greeted by the sight of the courtyard outside. He makes sure to walk before you.
Off we go, my dear friends. Let us begin our parlay.
You're laying it a little thick, aren't you?
I'm hoping that it goes well.
And whispers in his ear.
Nice. Cool. So you're led into the courtyard. At the very center of the courtyard is a long table, maybe 10 feet. There are 5 figures gathered around the table. 2 of them you recognize. At the ends of the table, next to their respective towers, or on the sides of their respective towers, are Acephia and Borellian. Borellian is wearing his flannel open, and he seems to have found his leather pants for this meeting.
Everyone.
Oh no, this is gonna go terribly. He's wearing pants.
My dear esteemed Lady Acephia. Sorry, you have more stuff. Go.
No, yeah. No, so you say that, and the paladin tries to step on you. He says, "Announcing the visitor."
he's trying to fake being a noble. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Lady Acephia turns to you. She's a vision in a white robe with gold trimmings and a new sort of tiara headpiece ish situation.
The new one? How many does this lady have?
Many.
Girl, she thinks she's the queen, so
Hey, she doesn't think she's anything. She is the queen. um, she's
God,
got
now I'm getting a mental image of Zogle with a tiara.
Good. Drawing that later.
Asefia doesn't need a sugar daddy. She could get one if she wanted one.
But she's not that type of
She's
girl.
not that kind of girl.
That kind of girl.
Daddy. The other figures, so one is sat in the center, and there are two standing behind him, and you have to do a double take because they all actually have the same face. Yes,
Question.
and they're all dressed exactly the same. So one of them is, well, they're a tiefling whose horns sort of like come to a point, like right up front.
Oh, so they kind of go like this.
Yeah. He has jet black hair. He's also got red skin. And so the two that are standing behind him are both like furiously writing in journals. And the one sat at the table, his eyes never leave you as soon as you enter, and he's also writing in a journal.
Oh no, I know what spell this is, I think.
I'm going to be whispering under my breath to Oriana. Can you see which one's the real one?
And she leans over and she says, "It's the one sitting down."
That's what I would think.
Oh, if she can see that it's not the spell, I think it is. Never mind, we're good.
And I'm gonna like look at her again and be like, "Is this mirror image?"
It's sort of a changed mirror image. It's more powerful, and he's altered it.
He's
He's a
got some
tinkerer.
home brewing going on.
I was gonna say I thought it was I can't remember what it's called, but there's one that you can literally create duplicates of yourself that have all of your spells. Simulacrum, thank you. I thought it was Simulacrum, and I was worried.
It's like an 8th or 9th level spell. And you cannot refresh those spell slots. You have to destroy the Simulacrum and start afresh. You can only get one.
Right.
Huh.
This is not that.
Okay, good. I was worried it was Simulacrum, and I went, oh, we are 99% dead.
So the paladin steps you all to the front of the table and stands at attention. And Lady, gosh, I can't ever remember her name. Lady Asefia says,
Yeah.
"Thank you. You may leave now."
She's like,
Okay.
hi.
Yeah, so. Yeah, basically.
As he leaves, if I may begin. Lady Asefia, I simply must thank you for your graciousness in allowing such an audience. I know this is quite out of the ordinary, especially for, how did you put it, an envoy of a lesser kingdom, such as Labrina.
Yes, well, I'm glad you're here. Tell me, did you, she doesn't hesitate, did you meet the requirements of our deal?
Yes. And I kind of look behind me like, guys, help me out here? Where are they?
You're a druid!
Oriana goes, and the images fall, revealing the two white Dragonborn.
As you can
But,
see. Oh.
And Borellian goes, "Well, aren't you a fancy pants?"
Sir Borellian, I think you're the one in fancy pants. How remarkable. What wonderful style.
Looking at us. I see her. Hi, Glacier Mom.
Hello. I said that in character voice.
Yes, you did. I'm sorry. I was so distracted by like The image of your
The
mother appearing, but I
looming.
missed what you said.
Sir Brilliant, I must say you are the one who has acquired a pair of quite fancy pants. What a fresh look.
I like him.
Do you want to keep him? You can have him.
Can I?
What unfortunate phrasing by my compatriot given our situation.
No, there's no like accidental on that. If you want him, you can have him. Like
I
don't want him
object
anymore.
quite strongly to that.
Oh my lord.
He talks a lot.
Yes, I do. I pride myself
like
upon
that.
my ability to blither and, well, not blither, but speak eloquently and find myself in a pleasant situation wherever I happen to be.
Endr reaches up, like, comes behind him, reaches up, puts a firm grip on his shoulder and be like, you don't have to excuse him for... He kind of, if you don't... He carries on.
Yes, I do. I wish to reflect upon Labrina in a positive way, and I find that being almost overly eloquent is a great way to do so.
My lady.
Let the noble do the talking.
I'm having too much fun with this. Go, Zogle.
My lady, we've brought them to you, but before everything gets crazy, as I'm sure it's about to, can we at least try to resolve things in a democratic way? Let's not go flying off the handle.
Yeah. And it's actually Victus who responds to you, and he says, "I see my reputation precedes me. Well, let us make sure." And he stands and holds his hands forward, and he says, "You're going to feel a tingle." And he casts a spell.
Oh lord.
As I see him casting a spell, I prepare to cast Disguise Self in case it affects my Potion of Humankin.
Yeah. As as you do that, his two servants like whip into action and like basically they jump up onto the table, and both of them have like a fireball in each hand.
You'll have to excuse my friend here. We've been traveling for quite a long time, and you can understand when somebody casts something at us, we like to prepare just as you have.
Yes, my apologies, especially after that dreadful incident involving my loss of identification. I've been a bit, shall we say, on edge.
I do not know you. You are guests in my house, and frankly, I care not for your libretta. So,
Labrina, pitcher of water. Labrina is in Labyrinth.
Labrina.
But I like that he says Labrina. He says it wrong. He doesn't care.
He cares that little, he doesn't even try to get
What's his name again? Like one more time so I don't mispronounce the blah, 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 blah.
Victus.
Victus from one wild to another person. Perhaps you could forgive this situation.
We will see. Now, his his two like images kind of step down back behind him. And he holds his hands forward. He says, "Now, as I said before, you will feel a tingle." And he casts a spell. You all feel a familiar cold wind blow through you. The last time that you felt it was in the Druid Grove after your fight with Gatorjaw, and you know it to be a mass silence, basically, like a small zone of anti-magic.
Kyr'nes, it's fine.
Does that...
Yes.
That does, okay.
It does. It does. So, yeah. So,
It dumps out his potion.
do what?
It dunks on the potion.
Yes, it does.
Lord.
The other two... so, So there is a slight intake of breath from Lima, and you all turn to look at Jaren. His Dragonborn form has melted away, and standing before you is a gray creature with bright yellow eyes.
Oh no.
And it's angry, like
What?
hissing in anger.
Would I know what this is?
What is this?
I know what this
I
is out of character. Would I know what this is in character?
I don't think that you would know in character. You have not encountered one.
Okay.
It so the creature the creature, kind of anticipating this, has a bit of a surprise, and he lunges to the table, and he shouts, and he says, "Death to Duver." And
That ain't good.
and he's got claws. And just before he reaches the sorcerer, there's a blast of fire, and he falls to the ground like charred cinders.
What was
so-
that, by the way?
That
So
was a
tag-
doppelganger, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But as a tactician, when that whole situation appeared, I'm going to jump to the protection of, Princess Bitchface.
Okay.
I think actually Kyr'nes does the same. He moves to protect his sister.
Yeah. So she is shocked. Interestingly, can I get Zogle, since you specifically said you're moving over to them, can I get a perception check from you?
Just as clarification, so who? Because I kind of lost the thing in the middle. So who transformed into that creature?
That was Jaren, who is the Dragonborn who wants
War.
to use the dragon, who wants war.
Oh, okay.
24 on that perception.
24. Yeah. So interestingly, you would think that these powerful magic spellcasters would make moves to defend themselves, but aside from the image which casts the fireball, none of them seem surprised, and none of them move to defend themselves.
Ooh.
Oh.
Immediately, Kyr'nes is hands up, babbling. I didn't know. I'm really sorry. Oh my gosh. It's like a pigeon of Draconic and English. Or common rather. He's just word vomit.
Kyr'nes, I get the feeling he already knew.
Well, it would have been nice if we knew.
He flips a few pages in his book and makes a tick mark, and then flips back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And he says, your friend is correct. We already knew about the creature.
Then why?
How do you get something out of hiding, Kyr'nes?
Fair. I suppose it would have wanted to keep up appearances.
Indeed.
Very clever.
What it wanted was that white dragon. Clearly.
Mm.
And friggin' Borellian says, "Yeah, they're building some kind of army, but we found him first, and so that'll be easier when they come."
They?
Question?
That's a literal question.
one of the images claps, and from the towers kind of ghosts another image, and stops right before the body of the crispy critter. It leans down and flips it over, and there is a you can just sort of tell the difference between like new burn and old burn, and there's a brand in its chest that you recognize, and it's of a half-masked face.
Mm.
Victus, besides this trial, we need your help.
Yes, I'm aware.
I'm glad. You also are aware how important it is that you help.
I am. But do you know why it is important?
I know my reasons, but I'm sure you can inform us as to better reasons.
He looks at freaking Lima. He looks at Lima and he says, "Are you prepared to be interned?"
Intern. Oh, that's so
I can't think of what the word is. to be jailed. And she nods her head, kind of still in shock. And he says, "Please take her to holding. We will deal with that situation later once we've spoken."
Kyr'nes has like fists clenched at his side, knowing that he has to let this happen. Like there's a trail of frost leaking out of his nose. He is trying to contain himself real hard.
The extra image that flipped the body ushers Lima away, and he says, "Now I understand that you have had contact with the creature Melkadrin. Is that correct?"
I'm going to guess that's the name of the thing that attacked and destroyed Lady Corella.
You guys actually already knew that, yeah?
Yeah.
You know his name, Melkadrin.
The big blue guy, yeah.
Indeed.
I think I missed that bit because that's news to me.
It was said, but you might have missed it.
Yeah.
He
I
says,
think that might have been out.
and by the way, he's still writing the entire time. Like all three of his clones are just, or him and his two clones are just like the whole time they're just
like court stenographer writing. Okay.
Yep.
I love the triple check.
Thank you. I only write down my best ideas.
Well, you seem to be writing a lot.
Yes.
All of it.
I know, those ideas are good.
Borellian says, "Well, I was informed by some fae from a forest, which you may be familiar with, about a spreading plague that was infecting their trees from a camp."
Home.
Which forest are you from?
Oh shit! I don't remember the name of the forest.
I mean, it's
next to Belwyn.
Yeah, it's like Belwyn Forest.
Belwyn Forest.
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Yeah, there was there's an evil tree. There's some infested trees. You killed a donkey man.
Oh yeah, that.
Well,
I almost died.
Upon investigation of these events, it led us to this creature Melkadrin, and what we know. This is Asafia. She says, "What we know so far is that he is building an army. He was arming them, and our suspicions are correct. This is a creature who has held this hate in its heart for a long time. Are you aware of Count Kyr'nes of Duver?
We are.
Excuse me, did I say Kyr'nes? Yeah, it is Kyr'nes.
Yeah, it is Kyr'nes.
She says, a long time ago, the city of Duver was besieged by various creatures led by the Oni. The Oni believe that Duver is their ancestral homeland, and that they were wronged when the ritual was cast upon it to slow the giant. Matthatter is the last remaining Oni from that clan. We believe that he is raising an army to destroy Duver.
Then I think that you might finally agree with us that these people need to be freed. They're going to go after your weakest link. No offense, Kyr'nes, but the people who are going to be the ones to go after are the ones who are mentally haggard.
And Victus says, they're the labor of our city. To make preparations, it will be important that we have them.
Then you can give them citizenship, pay them a good wage, and let them live freely. And I am sure that they will continue to help you in however they can, however they know. People work best when they feel like they're part of their home.
Well, that's fine. Well, that's fine for them. But here we go. Brillian's over here. That's fine for them, but the people of this city have quite a bias against them.
Not if their leaders convince them otherwise.
I don't think that it'll be as easy as you're thinking.
No, it won't be easy. But the thing is are you going to... they might be your bread and butter, but they're also your downfall.
If we create political turmoil before a potential attack on our city or an ally, the results could be catastrophic. The people may not listen to orders. We don't know how long we have to prepare for this attack.
Then prepare your people together. Again, you make it look like everybody is so cut and dry, but people are not inherently evil. People inherently want to take care of each other.
I like it.
I love the
Look, if we're going to reintegrate these people not as slaves and not as oppressors, you got to understand that that's going to take time. It might be easier to put them somewhere else. And that's if we release them bonds, which is still to be decided.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you should move them. Maybe that is your best plan of option. I mean, we can send them to all sorts of cities that would love and cherish and take care of them. And I'm sure we can open up trade to get you more workers so that your roads are clean and that you can continue what you're doing. There are people, in fact, looking for money constantly. And all they have to do is lay a few bricks every few years. That wouldn't be a problem.
Indeed. And what of the White Dragon?
We're working on a plan of moving my mother.
Moving?
Well, the trouble is, I'm sure you're aware, if you were aware of, well, gestures broadly to the burning grey lump. I'm sure you're aware, given that you were aware of this yikes fest, if I may.
Oh, also, your coverage totally blown, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's just
Just so you
he's
know.
now just stuck in this Labrina accent. Um, I'm sure you're aware of the current state of my mother, but it would not do to have her remain in Rodavine. I'm aware of her particular nature, and she, odds are, will not see reason as well as her children have. So we're going to need to remove her from this city, and take her somewhere a little more suitable for her demeanor.
Do you have a place in mind? When you move a predator into a new area, it can become invasive if you're not careful. If there aren't creatures around that can deal with it, you have to be real careful where you move it.
That's about where our plan ended, actually. We mostly were working on getting her out of the city and finding out where to put her afterward. Perhaps we could entreat you for some advice. Mighty Archdruid, who clearly has a greater knowledge of nature than I ever could, a mere draconic sorcerer.
Real quick, out of character, what are those mountains that I was told not to go to?
I don't know if they have a name, but they're east of Duver.
The East Mountains.
That's their name now. It's canon.
That's something we want to discuss with you, actually. You may not want to send her there and let her hunt, as you may find yourselves hunted.
I get the feeling you know why I'm headed over there.
Indeed.
What's the best way to get rid of a predator or to let fate decide on what to do with a predator?
Well, I would say that a group of druids might be able to keep it under wraps, or if y'all know anything as strong as a dragon, she's a little weak from all that from the starving bit, so it's possible that another powerful creature might be able to.
You see the light bulb go off
keep her
above
safe.
Kyr'nes' head. My mother! Or, allow me to explain. I'm sure you're aware of my particular situation. Faroche, she's much more sociable than, well, just about any other dragon I've met. Although I haven't exactly met many. But she may be willing to aid us in this endeavor, provided I can entreat her for aid.
Victus kind of. Actually, I guess he'd do it behind him, and from the tower you see like a book kind of.
Okay,
Is it like the other way around? It's like
no, it kind of falls until the very end, and then it kind of.
Nice.
I don't know how to do that.
Book.
It lands in front of him, and he says, "Faroche, you say?" Flips. And says, "Highly sociable, long distance away, fairly strong, nearly equal in age." And he turns and looks at Victus, and he says, "Does this sound like an acceptable solution?" And excuse me, he turns to oh god, it's so hard to do three characters at the same time. Aurelian.
Griffin McElroy, you are not.
with yourself.
Here's Aurelian. He says, "Yeah, I reckon she's let's see." And he closes his eyes and he says, "Let's see, she's a copper, no, bronze." And he opens his eyes a little bit. Bronze.
Kyr'nes taps his nose like, bronze.
Bronze dragon. Yeah, I reckon that'd work. And Invictus says, "Very well. As the head of the Council of the Crown, I propose this motion. We will move the dragon. We will assist you in this. If you are able to, if your people are willing to take her. At this time, you will take all of the free white Dragonborn remain within the city, and they will go at the same time. The working Dragonborn will be funneled out of the city slowly over a period of time so as not to arouse suspicion. Say 3 months. That way, that's a...
Out of character, I thought he was gonna say like years, and I was like, all
That's
the
what-
free Dragonborn can go, and I was like, oh, this bitch, what's he gonna be playing at? I was like,
This way, by the time that the people notice, most of them will be out of the city.
I must admit, your plan is miles more put together than mine, and will work, well, swimmingly. Wonderful.
I look at the other Victus probably writing this down and be like, yeah, it's one of his best ideas.
Nice.
oh,
And
shit.
he looks at you and just keeps writing.
What's Victus wearing, by the way?
You got to do this to me, don't you? It's hard to match that skin. Probably like black robes, with some like trimmings and stuff. You know, like fancy black robes, not like gothy black robes.
Perhaps there's a few assorted runes that match on Kyr'nes's overcloak to this robe, and he's like, "Oh,
Sure.
Same hat."
For sure. He says, "Is this an acceptable solution?"
I'm prepared to accept your terms, provided we can get a hold of my mother.
Leave that to us.
Might I suggest you funnel them to Ronavine? There seems to be a new economic balance that needs to be helped with.
You're in
Or-
Ronavine.
Magic City, whatever.
Duver.
Magic New York, Dover.
We could do this. They will be separated from those who leave today. I suppose it's really up to them.
I'm sure I can at least try to convince them that this is the best we could do.
Indeed. Well, it would seem that despite my best efforts, you've won their freedom.
Hell yeah. Endr doesn't say that. I'm just like,
I must
Good.
thank you most graciously, all three of you. This is, I must admit, while not my favorite solution, a wonderful one nonetheless.
Indeed. He says, "Are you willing to contact immediately? Shall we put this plan into motion? I do not like to wait."
I don't see any reason to wait either.
He,
As soon- as soon as I can borrow some of your time.
very well.
Preferably alone.
Mm.
He looks at his council. And they both stand, and
Zogle says this to Victus?
Yup.
Asaphia says, "We'll show you to come with us." she turns and leads you to the or she leads anyone else. I'm assuming everyone's following her. If Zogle wants to
Yeah.
roll in. Okay. She leads you to the arcane tower. Zogle, you watch as the door opens, everyone moves through it, and the portal shuts. You're left with Victus and Victus and Victus.
Ah, man, three's a crowd.
Cubed.
I can remove them if you wish, but they'll know everything that you say. So
No, it's basically you, and more you.
Me,
You must
myself, and
have
I, if you will.
amazing company on a regular basis.
indeed.
I just kind of like throw Belvier's axe down on the table.
Belvar.
I need to know how to Belvar, whatever. Same shit. Everybody has B names. I'm not prepared. Zoggle's fine. I'm not. I'm a caster, and I can do many things. I can't use this.
Indeed.
You basically already realized that I'm just going to ask for your help to do this. I have to go, and I have to get revenge, but I kind of need to know how to use this thing.
You want me to train you with this axe?
Or at least give me magic to use the axe. I have no idea what the best options here are, but I need to learn very, very quickly so that I can go to those mountains and seek out some revenge.
Indeed. Well, it may surprise you that I'm not omniscient. I'm just very good at investigating. However, he summons another book from his tower. Flip, 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 flip. Summons another book. Flip, flip. And he looks at you, and he says, in my study of sharp weapons, which I did in my youth, I believe that I covered the basics. He summons another book, and this one's actually you can see when he opens it, it's blank. He sets pen to paper, and his two clones lean over his shoulders and also set their pens down, and they all start writing in unison.
Oh.
That's
a
cool.
cool trick.
Funky.
You know, some time passes, and they've flipped several pages. You know, just nonstop writing, and then suddenly they just stop and the book closes. And he says, "If you study this, it will give you the proficiency that you require, but you must be diligent."
Trust me, reading is kind of my thing.
Yeah.
I would have asked the others, but one's too precious for this world, sarcastically, and the other is higher than a kite. And I think you're the only one who knows what the feeling of vengeance is like.
Indeed. Do not underestimate them, but you made the right choice. And he hands the tome to you.
Thank you.
Indeed. Now, I believe they'll require me for the ritual. He stands and turns. The table, flips. It does okay, you know Inception when the fruit stand explodes and then it's all caught in midair?
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah, that happens with the table, and you think that you're going to be hit by all these books that are on it, and then they just sort of fade away. And there's a clear path to the arcane tower to you.
That's so
Nice.
cool.
No.
Victus has a lot of neat tricks up his sleeve. That's so cool.
Victus is very smart.
As Zogle starting to walk, he just goes, "You're a lot like me. It's all stone-faced, isn't it?"
Well, I've had a lot of practice. He leads you into the arcane tower, down a flight of stairs, which the rest of you have already been down. And there is there's like sort of a pad with some magic glyphs on it.
Kyr'nes is actively ogling this thing, like, what?
Oh
This
yeah,
is
you've
so
been
neat.
you specifically, Kyr'nes, have actually been led onto the pad.
Ooh.
So you get to look up close and personal with it.
Oh.
The two images have stepped to like diagonals of the circle, and the real Victus joins them at the center, and he says, "Kyr'nes, if you're ready." What? You what?
I like that we have to clarify which Victus it is.
Yes. He says, "Kyr'nes, if you're ready, I will channel a spell on the circle, which will present your image to your mother and hers to you."
I suppose this is the readiest I'm getting.
Big dragon.
He starts doing some Doctor Strange shit. The lights in the room kind of dim down, and almost it seems like the lights fade away from everyone. Kyr'nes, you're in sort of this like arcane bubble now, and you can't see the room anymore. Okay, everyone in the room, you're still able to see Kyr'nes like through a semi bubble. Kyr'nes, you are being transported, or not transported, but you're being shown a place that is both familiar and very far away, and it is the home of your mother, the bronze dragon.
Feroche is what you're looking for.
Feroche is and so tell us about Feroche's home.
Well, I feel like she's near a town, obviously, because bronze dragons like to talk to people, so there needs to be people to talk to. There's like I kind of picture like a big, almost just cathedral-like dome of a cave they're in, and like there's stories etched into every inch of this cave because they want to, between Feroche talking to people and everyone else talking to people, they want to write everything down that they've learned from people. And there's glyphs of many tales, some that don't quite make sense given the plane we're in, but still, just a billion, a constellation of story. It's absolutely, chaotic, bustling. There's this is a huge horde of bronze dragonborn. They weren't exactly, oppressed like everyone here. This is a huge crowd, and it sounds like a clamorous din. Everyone is talking. Everyone is talking at once.
Yes.
And Feroche is in the middle, taking it all in, making sure everybody's, getting along. Kind of her eyes closed.
Yeah. And so you see a little bit of these surroundings, and you hear like the muffled din of everyone else. And Feroche, with her eyes closed, suddenly raises her neck and opens her eyes and looks directly at you.
Hi, Mom!
Hi, Mom, I'm home!
Oh, hold on. Let me work out a Feroche voice. Yeah, okay. She says, Kyr'nes, why am I seeing you right now?
Well, I've had some measure of success. More or less. We've been... Oh, I have so much to tell you at another time. This is a bit... how shall I say, time constrained. The long and short of what's happened is I've found hang on, I need to look up the name.
So while he's looking that up, the rest of you can't see Faroche, but you can hear her like as if she's in the distance, kind of thing.
I don't care. I'm reading.
Fair.
I'm starting to read that book like there's no tomorrow. I can just like, I love the inflection you gave. It's like, why am I seeing you right now?
What are you doing? I've found Erazion. She's in a bit of a state, and that's actually why I'm, well, what's the term? Calling you. We need to move Erazion, remove her from the predicament she's found herself in, and we're also moving the rest of the clan, and, well, we kind of need your help. Since you're, ever so powerful and everything, we hoped that, I was hoping to try and do this on my own, but I need your help in, this endeavor. We're trying to make everyone get along, and a great way to do that would be to have you help us.
Kyr'nes, your mother, Erazion, is very powerful. I think she would say that in like reverse. I think she'd say, Erazion, your mother is very powerful. Also, the din has kind of died down as people are like listening to her talk. I am not 100% sure that I would be capable of handling such a creature. In fact, I don't even know where I would put her. Yeah, I know it's been a while since you were here, but let me remind you, I'm looking around the room, and I see no space for a white dragon. I see a person there, I see a person there, and if she were in this room, she would probably squish them.
Oh god, there's so much.
Well, in regards to power, Mom, well, Erazion's, how do I put this, heavily impaired, so power wouldn't be trouble. As for space, well, we have the whole family there. I'm sure someone could come up with something.
Very well. Kyr'nes, I trust you. You are one of my favorites. In fact, on my list of my favorite of my children, you rank approximately number 137. Now, keep in mind, this is of my currently alive children. If I were to look back through history at all of the children that I've had,
What kind of Zogle hell is this?
approximately number 435. So you still make the top 500.
Gosh, the top 500? That's a lot higher than I was expecting. Wonderful.
I've had many children.
Yes. Hence why I'm so pleased with being in the top 500, Mom.
I love it. It's just like a constant combo. It's like,
You could absolutely tell Kyr'nes is purely channeling
From
bronze
Book
right
of
now.
Victus and be like, she already agreed. She already agreed. She already agreed. She already agreed.
Like, Kyr'nes is already talkative. Immediately, as soon as he starts talking to his mom, he gets even more bronze and more talkative. Babbly.
She says,
even Endr at this point is like, oh. Like, he's kind of like getting like to the Zogle level of like, oh Lord.
Oh, no.
how much time do I have to prepare? Will you be sending her by post? Is she flying over? Is there some sort of magical means? I don't know if a white dragon is going to blow our cover here, so perhaps if you could cast an invisibility spell. I'm not sure, frankly, if that is within your realm of possibilities, but you should consider it.
As for the method of transportation, well, I kind of gesture with my head toward Victus. If you could help me out here, I wasn't filled in on the full details of the plan, Mother. I sincerely apologize. I'm sure we
will
can...
not be able... He's like focusing on the spell. He says, Kyr'nes, she will not be able to hear me clearly, but it is a basic gate spell.
Oh, golly, okay. I've been informed that it's a basic gate spell, so that should if I'm remembering the specifics of something like that correctly, that shouldn't cause any trouble with the neighboring town, provided we do things correctly.
Very well, Kyr'nes. We will prepare. Send her over as soon as you are ready, as soon as you're comfortable. How are you doing? You've been gone for quite some time, Kyr'nes, and I'm afraid to tell you. This goes on for some time.
Kyr'nes very
Zogle is
patient.
trying.
It's been many moons, Mother. Well, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see everyone. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see. I gotta think of Kyr'nes' sister's name. What's her name? Dalrex. Yes, Dalrex.
Dalrex.
I can't wait to see Dalrex. I'm sure she's progressed wonderfully since we've last spoken. It's been so long. Gosh golly.
Yes. Dalrex created a major accident, which has made her fall to approximately my 700th favorite child.
Oh dear.
Oh, dear.
Hopefully she can make up that sort of ranking. That's dreadfully unfortunate. I told her to be careful before I left.
Indeed. And Victus says, "My goodness, Kyr'nes, the spell, it's fizzling.
Okay, bye, Mom."
Zogle is now shielding his eyes, for he now has a headache.
He takes back out the pipe that he gave Ariana.
Ori, is there still anything in that pipe?
Come on, not in front of the company.
Victus says, now that is in order, if you don't mind, we'll be moving on to the difficult part. Next week! Yay! Because there's no way we're going to accomplish this in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've taken a lot of time on this particular arc, but it's presumably all important, maybe.
Especially given that, doppelganger tie you just pulled, it's dreadfully important.
Yeah, gee, I wonder what that's about. So, I do want to ask you guys, we're kind of, maybe, I want to, I don't know, but we've introduced a lot of the end of this particular stretch of the campaign that I've planned. And I guess my question is, how are you liking it? Are you enjoying your characters? And do you want to continue playing after this wraps up? And do you want to start a new story, presumably at the same level that you leave off? Or do you want to continue with your current characters? Or do some of you want to swap out and we form half of a new party? What's everyone thinking?
I'm liking where Kyr'nes is headed, but also, given the way this arc is ending, we could probably pretty reasonably come back to him later. It'd be pretty reasonable for, I have already forgotten her name, his sister, to kind of hop in, and she's like, I'm gonna go on an adventure now.
Sure.
Yeah, Kyr'nes is like, I've been away from home. I want to talk to my mom for the next 3 years.
I have bizarrely fallen in love with Zogle.
Cool.
I mean, I honestly even though stuff with Endr is kind of more a long stretch.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's one of those things where it's okay, a little thing happened, and a little thing happened, because she's on the long game. Because with the list you gave me, boy, I die.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
So hard. So I mean, I kind of want to keep up with Endr. I just kind of want to unless I said in the beginning of the session, God forbid she dies.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of want to keep up with Endr and see through her quest, and also I am totally down for another after this campaign thing happens. Oh,
Same here.
I
If it
know.
wasn't the most clear, I could go either way. I could continue with Kyr'nes, or I could uh, hop on and use Dalrex.
Cool.
And if we really wanted to, while we plan for like maybe a next campaign, we could fill in the middle with some of those one shots from the Pickled
Yeah.
Dragon.
That would be fun.
Can you send me some of
Owl,
that stuff? Like,
Al, how are you
okay.
feeling about it?
I think Owl mentioned he had to step out for a bit earlier because his doggo was having an adventure. I
Oh, I
don't
totally
know
missed
if
it.
he's come back. He mentioned it in the text chat.
Oh, okay. Well then I will message Al myself. Yeah. Okay, cool. Do we want to do promos? And then does someone want to promo Al? And then we'll be good to go.
Yeah, I got everyone their shout outs, but if
Cool.
somebody wanted to be the vocal presence for him, that would be great.
Cute. I'll do it.
Okay. I'll lead because my things take forever because I do a billion things. Hi, my name is Glacier Nester. Whether that has an underscore depends on whether it's allowed. I play Kyr'nes, the Dragonborn Sorcerer, and maybe eventually Dalrex, the Dragonborn Monk? We'll see. We're kind of coming to the close of Kyr'nes' arc, or the first Kyr'nes arc, so to speak, and you've done wonderfully with that kid, oh my gosh. You weave a mighty story. But I do things other than this. I'll start with Twitch, because that makes explaining YouTube easier. I do variety things on Wednesday nights. Right now, we just finished Oracle of Ages. It was a beautiful story. I need a break from Zelda. We're gonna work on the dice that I actually use in this campaign. I wrote them myself, and I've been taking hints and advice from my beta testers, because I handed this program to a couple people to beta test with, and I've been taking hints and advice from my beta testers, and I've got a big old pile of changed log to make to my dice. So that's what we're going to be doing on Wednesdays for the next while I sort out what game we're going to play next. Probably a Zelda, if I can manage it. We'll see. Friday nights on Twitch is my premiere show. It's my favorite. It's my baby. It's called Paper Cuts. I read public domain books. We just finished Paradise Lost. It was a good time, even despite the difficulty of the Middle English. That was actually recommended by Razz, believe it or not, because I have a fan Discord where you can recommend things, but that's beside the point. Anyway, the VODs, and now we can move to YouTube. The VODs for those things go up on Saturday and Thursday, respectively. And then I have my original content for YouTube, which comes up on Mondays. Right now, it's Frozen Thunder Finds, my first impression series, where I play a game for 30 minutes and go, liked that, or didn't like that. It's a good time. Anyway, between all that hoopty-law, I have stuff every day except Tuesday, especially if you count this. So there's plenty of stuff to do. There's literally 3 days of me reading books in a playlist on my channel. So there's plenty for y'all to catch up on. Feel free to tune in. That's Glacier Nester. I know it's hard to remember because I've lived there for a billion years. That's it, that's all.
Right.
I'm Razz. I play Endr, our wizard / cleric now, even though I've done nothing cleric yet, except right when I got it after the hag fight. I just opened up a YouTube channel, like I mentioned last week, where I will be tossing the VODs for this adventure. I actually need the second one up tonight, if I remember to, between all my studying.
I'll remind you to start it.
Thank. But yeah, those will be there. I might eventually put other things there. We shall see if I have the time and the resources. I also have a Tumblr where I talk art, which is Razz's Art Corner, right?
Yeah, it's Razz's Art Corner. Shows you how often she
I
posts.
can't even remember the name of my own blog. It's fine. Razz'sArtCorner.tumblr.com. I also have a TikTok, which is Razz Matthatter. It's in goof.
is good.
It's good.
My boyfriend's a dumbass on a side note.
What'd he
4.5
do?
hours ago, to get on a train to go home, he's just now got on the train because I guess none of them have come. And I told him he should have come back, and he's like, "No, I didn't want to bother you." Boy.
Nice.
Oh, boys.
Okay. I'm Kid Infinite. I stream sometimes. I'm also a student, and that's really stressful for me. And so a lot of the time I come home and sleep instead of stream. And you know what? That's just how it is right now.
That's valid.
I just picked up Fallout 4. I'm super excited.
Girl, right?
I'm gonna achievement hunt it.
Oh, you gonna go full Gerard on that thing?
I am.
So
Nice.
fucked. There are so many hours in that
I
game.
know. I'm super excited. So I'll be streaming that, and yeah, I think that's everything. I do this on Sundays and Wednesdays. Show with my good friend Basley called Good Morning Twitch. We do it in the evening and pretend it's morning, and we have a weather report, and we talk about Q Boys and make top 5 lists, and it's great.
Not top 500. Top 5.
Not top 500. Not top 500. I cannot keep a top 500 list in my brain like a dragon. Now, aside from me, we also have Sleeping Owl.
Which I'm back.
You're back. Hey, do you want to do your outro?
Hey!
I was like trying to buy you as much time as possible.
Yeah, my name is SleepingOwl. I play Azure the Bard. I sometimes stream. I've been streaming more lately, and it's been fun. I stream creative. I've been working on my portfolio because I've seen some job opportunities, so I'm gonna try to apply for that. So I'm streaming
Awesome.
it. So yeah, catch me on, and penis. Let's go.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of job opportunities, so this is the Matthatter Plays channel. I do this now. This is my job now.
Good luck.
We stream at least 40 hours a week, possibly more now that I literally am going to be at the same place where I do the streaming, doing some marketing stuff. So yeah, we are currently no-lifing Fallout 4 until Fallout 76 comes out, and then we're going to no life 76 until we die.
I did not realize you were doing that. When I clicked on the
It looks
game.
like I'm frozen, guys. Yeah. So that's what's going on. Yay!
All right, yay! So next week, hopefully we wrap up this storyline. We move on to whatever's next, and I couldn't possibly imagine what's next. I don't have any plans for that.
Maybe we die, maybe we don't. It'll be fine.
There is a real chance you will die next week. I'm just letting everyone know.
That's fair.
Hey, that's
There's a lot happening.
Okay, at least this time we know everyone is aware of what we're walking into.
Mm-hmm.
Fair. Cool. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
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 That was a lot. Thanks, kid. Last second of the capture.